Hey everybody, welcome back to Blushing Nerd Tarot. Thought I'd hop on today to show some of the fun items that I was able to pick up at a couple of local shops. So it's two very different experiences. One is at a bookstore chain. It's not Barnes and Noble, but it's another fairly sizable chain. And I went in for the first time since this location opened up, just to find out if they had any tarot decks. I was pleasantly surprised to find out that they actually have a pretty large selection. They have a couple of Lenormand, a few oracles, maybe a shelf and a half of oracles, and then the rest are all tarot. And it was a broad mix. Most of the ones you'd expect to see in kind of a bigger chain bookstore. They had a couple copies of the tattoo tarot. They had it just, a standard spread of things. Nothing that really called out to me, with the exception of one thing that I thought may be worth trying, for the sake of finding a deck that almost anyone could get, for a very approachable price, and in terms of ease of access. So it's not. I would imagine that this deck is available at a variety of places. I've even noticed that in the U.S. the Target stores have some tarot decks now, and so I think this is probably one that has worked its way into a broader distribution, based on its price point, and that price point being $7.97, which actually makes me wonder if this was published for Walmart stores. For any of you that are familiar with, and I don't know who isn't these days, the Walmart stores, I think they tend to end a lot of prices in 97s. But anyway, it is the classic tarot. Kind of a fun color scheme. And I expected to see just a Rider Waite, like you see them all over Amazon, RWS decks that have basically just different backs, and somebody else is selling it and claiming it. But these are actually their own artwork. It's Sweetwater Press. This was 2021 as it's dated 2021 on the back, but there is no book, so there's no actual copyright date involved in this little endeavor. It is strictly, you just get a tarot deck, and actually it's fairly weighty. That was the other thing that got me wondering, like, okay, for $7.97, it actually has some heft to it. It felt a little better in terms of weight. If that was any indication, it felt better than some of the other major mass market productions that were sitting on the shelf alongside it. So I thought, hey, if this, for someone who would really like to explore tarot and is on a budget, why not? Let's see what it has to offer. And here's the backs. Let's see what it has to offer, because it may be. See if I can get a little bit more light on this. So, fun backs, not reversible. That's okay for me, as you know, at this point anyway. Don't do reversals, but that doesn't mean it'll always be that way. It is, well, to get myself some comparison here. Bear with me. Okay. Let's check it against the old yellow box here. and it is just slightly larger width and height, just a touch. So unremarkably so, to give you an idea of scale there. So let's just take a quick flip through here. I'm not going to do the full deck. Um, you'll get an idea, I think, pretty quickly from the artwork where we stand with this. This has a very familiar feel to it, this artwork. And I can't think. There's a cartoonist I believe, in the U.S. that this just reminded me of, and I can't think of who it is, but some of you may recognize, and you can pop that in the comments if you do, if you feel so inclined. This looks like a very downtrodden person. The raggedy clothes. Still got a feather. We're carrying things in the sack. We have a flower and a dog. Little bit of a Dr. Seuss style platform here to stand on. The colors too actually make me think of that. But this doesn't have the carefree feel that we get from RWS and things, but could be heading down a different path there. So I'd be, unfortunately, again, with no book, we don't have any indication from the author or the artist what they were going for. But there we go. Sorry. Magician. High priestess. So we are getting some elements that we would expect to see. There we have on our Empress, we have the stars up above. Looks like the correct number, not in the crown themselves. We have a shield there. We're missing some of the elements that we get from the flowing stream and the tree and the pomegranates, things like that. That's okay. Emperor. Hierophant. Look at that. Is that a pile of keys? It is a pile of keys. No supplicants. But we're sitting on a lot of keys. All of the keys. So, interesting. Our lovers. So, the question then is, can you take a deck like this? It's $7.97, and read with it. I think one of the difficulties I would have. We have the elemental symbols in the wheel here. Is the fact that it doesn't come with a book. So if you're new to tarot, and that's why you're buying this, and you're, you don't want to spend a lot of money, you don't have a lot of money, whatever the case may be, you're missing a resource there, since it doesn't come with a book. But is that okay? Perhaps it is, because there are enough resources maybe online. Our tower's not really doing anything, but it's in an interesting setting that has some implications. Reaching for the star. Interesting. So yeah, I mean, it does. It raises a lot of questions, for sure. But would we be able to just pick this up and read with it? Not if you're new. Not if you're new to tarot. I would say, or brand new. We're pippish in the minors here. Perhaps little indications. Okay, so we have a Marseille style here. Then back to an RWS with the 8. 10. Then we totally change illustration styles for our characters here in the courts. So I actually have a feeling this looks to me like it's different artists altogether. Um, that it's not even really the same color palette, but those are very different styles there. So that's probably what's going on if I had to guess, which that's fine. Again, we're talking about an $8 deck. Um, what would that be? Maybe £5 UK. Um, so okay, you know, we get okay, in the cups we're actually getting a little bit more information here. Kind of a traditional idea behind the 7, not so much with the 8 per se. 10 gets a rainbow. So, um, boy, it's a tough one. I really want to say, for that price, then yes, why not? I think that's kind of where I'm landing is that because of the number of resources we have available to us for free online, by all means, if this is the deck you can afford, then this is the deck you get, and just do some searches. Just get on the good old Googles and find yourself a PDF somewhere, maybe, or even just some free online course information. If at some point you're able to get Benabel Wen's book, um, I'll link it. Fantastic book on tarot. It's the tome that many people talk about. Um, that really has a lot of great information in it, but she also has lots and lots of PDF resources on her website to supplement, and a lot of those are really good exercises for beginners that can run you through some journaling, some sample reading ideas. She has example readings, whether they're fictitious or with friends of hers that or clients even that she read for and then recorded them. Not sure exactly, but it is the classic tarot. We don't have a credited author or creator. It's just Sweetwater Press is the publisher. So that's it. Probably could be, maybe it's not, but it feels like this might be the cheapest, least expensive entry level deck. The you know, in terms of, I was mentioning the weight and how that might be an indication of quality. The card stock is fine. It's what it may even be. I might go as far as to say I actually like this a little bit better than some of the fairly expensive decks that I've purchased and I was disappointed in. Um, because for comparison's sake, if I'm buying a $7.97 deck of tarot cards, my expectations are fairly low, to be honest, and what the quality of the card stock's going to be. Um, and this exceeded what I would have expected at that price point. So there you go. Um, if you have it and you use it, I'd actually like to hear your thoughts on it because it's a bit of a curiosity because of the way they chose to depict certain things, and I'd be curious to hear what your thoughts are. So that was Big Bookstore tarot deck on the cheap. So at the same store, a couple of other things. I got a set of pint glasses that have tarot card images, not full images, or like black line drawings. It had, I believe, Wheel of Fortune, Justice, the World, and I can't remember the fourth one. Anyway, did not think to bring one of those down here to my studio area, but I'll show them, I'm sure, on future videos. But they're really fun. They're nice quality glasses. They weren't too expensive, and just a fun little thing to have. Also at the same store, and I'll try not to drip wax all over everything. they had a whole big selection of these tarot themed candles, a couple different colors, but mostly white. And they do have a little bit of a mild scent to them, which is not at all unpleasant. It doesn't give any indication of what that scent is supposed to be. And I couldn't narrow it down to tell you exactly what it was intended to be, but pretty nice actually. Those were, I think, 12, maybe 12.99 original price. I don't remember if they were on sale. Um, then Yeah, I believe that's it from the bookstore. But it was quite nice. Pleasant surprise. Not only did they have actually a really large metaphysical section there. So in addition to, full shelf of tarot decks, some oracles, a couple of more Lenormands, they had these freestanding tables all over that really had um just a great selection for going into a large bookstore. And to be able to find, they actually had maybe a dozen or more different mixes of sage smudge sticks. They had some Palo Santo. They had a variety of different other divinatory tools, and some Wicca themed and witchcraft and that sort of thing. A variety of different things there. It's kind of exciting. So, really neat stuff. Then today, I went to a new to me, metaphysical store that's local here in my area. Um, that was just amazing. You walk in and it just has this great old apothecary feel to it. And they had just about everything. Now, their tarot selection, not so great. And that was one of the first things they even brought up to me, because as soon as I went in, the manager approached, asked if there was anything they could help me find, and I said I was in for tarot decks, and so they said, "Well, we're a little low on tarot decks right now, but I'll show you what we have." And there were some there that I have not seen before, which was nice. So somebody's curating that selection, I think, and it's not just the standards. But it was a small section, and they had some oracle decks as well. But I did not get a tarot deck. Nothing in their selection was really calling to me today. That's fine. Um, what I did get is amazing book. And you've probably maybe you've seen people talk about this on other channels. Uh, the Library of Esoterica Tarot. This came out in 2020. Uh, Tashin, Toscan. I'm not sure how you pronounce it. That's the publisher. The binding on this is stunning. It's really just an amazing thing to behold. And I'm going to try not to catch it on fire in my candles. So we have Pixie's Wheel of Fortune on the back. And what this is basically is sort of an encyclopedia for tarot. Um, I mean, it's just beautiful. The quality on the paper reminds me of some of the ultra premium bindings. I'm going to move my candle out of the way because I really don't want to catch my book on fire. So, um, but this is a chunky book for sure. We have the edited and written by Jessica Hundley, Hundley, 2020. I will find and link things, of course, in the description, and I'll try and link directly to maybe some print in Slovakia. It looks like it's a German publishing company. Um, but I will try to link directly to either the publishing house or the author. Um, this is something you can probably buy, at maybe some of the bigger places like Amazon and stuff. That's I link to there if that's where I know you can get something, but it's always nice to buy from a local store too if you can. Um, what this does as it goes through the different cards, it actually has examples from lots of different decks. So it's almost a way too to find. Now, I don't know how many of these decks are out of print or difficult to find, but certainly there are a lot of examples in here that may give you something to hunt for. You might find a style in here, a deck you've never seen before, and it may really speak to you and end up being something you want to hunt down if you're like me. But also, aside from that, it just gives you a lot of amazing art and different angles of interpretation to think about, and lots of information. So, of course, we have, all of the different cards, all the different decks on display here. But when we go to the beginning, we get tarot timelines, we get um, foundation formed early decks and iconography. Is reading the history section already. Just some really interesting stuff in there to try to give you a broad overview of what is a very complicated subject. Of course, tarot origin story is convoluted, if that's the right term. Feels that way. It's very controversial in some cases. In a lot of cases, it's just basically we don't know because some of the origin story is lost to history. But we do have a lot going back a long way. So very interesting stuff, and some of that is touched on here. A lot of it is really brought up. But I thought something I've talked about before, my idea and my approach with tarot, and why I feel like there's a place for every creator and every thought and opinion and all of that sort of thing. There's a quote here from P.D. Ouspensky, a Russian mathematician and occultist who wrote The Symbolism of the Tarot in 1913. Quote here at the start of the brief history of tarot that I think really speaks to how I feel. Tarot contains and expresses any doctrine to be found in our consciousness, and in this sense, it has definiteness. It represents nature in all the richness of its infinite possibilities, and there is in it, as in nature, not one but all potential meanings. Not one but all potential meanings. And these meanings are fluent and ever changing, so the tarot cannot be specifically this or that, for it ever moves and yet is ever the same. That about sums it up. Yeah, if I resist. I find myself being put off by folks that have that definite approach, that they feel like, oh no, this is the way it is with tarot. No thanks. That's fine. Okay, but how about let's not be so rigid, because we need to leave room for a lot of different interpretations, because I agree with Ouspensky that it's ever changing and it can't be specifically this or that, because we are rich and diverse as readers and fans and querents, and as the tarot community, we are endlessly diverse, just like the interpretations of the decks that we find. And that doesn't mean that everything has to appeal to you, because Inevitably, it will not. You'll find things that you like, you'll find things that you don't like, um, and everything in between. But that's fine because that's your experience of it, and that's your understanding of the tarot. And the tarot, I think, is for everyone in whatever way they feel they'd like to experience it. And this book is amazing, and it weighs a ton. So that, which I'm wondering if this would be an interesting thing to do a study group on, um, inspired somewhat uh, by Chris at Elemental Cartomancy doing the Marielle study group. I wonder if this would be an interesting one to go, card by card through the book to read about those different decks, to read about the different interpretations. Let me know what you think. If that's something of interest, I'd like to hear from you, and maybe that's something we could do. We could do it as a live, almost like a book club thing, active participation. We could do any number of approaches there. So I that would be fun. Another thing I got is another sphere. This one is green opal, and I think it's quite beautiful. It looks like it's almost like if somebody pulled string algae out of a pond and froze it in place in glass in some sections, and then you get these other sections with some probably iron, and some other elements thrown in there. Look at that. But this was also from that same store where I got the book, and it is beautiful. It's just a little bit smaller than my lepidolite sphere, obviously bigger than the septarian, but this I haven't really shown these yet, I don't think, but these are pretty neat stones. I'm really liking this sphere collection, and adding to that. That's been fun. So that was a great little addition. Let's see. This actually was recent from a different store, maybe a week ago or so. I can get the camera to grab it there. It's like a shard form. Some would call it even a small wand, maybe, of amethyst. This is my second one of these. I actually, unfortunately, lost one recently, and I have no idea. I mean, I was moving some stuff around because we were having some work done, and I must have just misplaced it somewhere, and I haven't come across it again. But I love this form. It's really a fun thing to behold. So I picked up another one of those. Oh, the other thing I got, and I wish I would have wrote it down because it's killing me now. I can't figure it out. I was trying to search. I got a smudge stick that it's white sage, but the flowers, I believe it said they were cloud blossoms, but I can't find any indication of that being a thing. So, and I thought I was just taking a chance on it. They didn't have descriptions there, but they had a whole bank of different sages, um, and different smudges of all sorts. I mean, I'm telling you, they probably had it had to have been somewhere in the range of, oh, I don't know, maybe 75 different kinds. And I mean, it smells amazing. I need to find out what that other. So I'll go back to the store, of course, because I loved it there, and I'll find out. But I think it had something to do with clouds. Somebody out there probably knows, and if you do, by all means, drop it in the comments because that would be helpful. So that's what I think that's all I had for my little haul for this July 4th weekend. Here in the States, it's a holiday weekend, so we have an extra day from work. Some of us, um, so some businesses are closed on Monday for the holiday. So anyway, I'll probably be back with another video. May do some reading. Um, got a couple of decks here I want to go over to at some point, and stay tuned soon. We're going to be getting the new alchemy deck that is part of the Kim Kran's uh, set of four with the Wild Unknown. The fourth one comes out on July 5th. And it looks like, because I pre ordered it, it looks like I should be receiving it that day. And I'm probably going to be popping on to do a walkthrough as soon as I am able on that day. So thanks everybody for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one.